When talking about migration, one of the greatest problems are the relationships that are formed between locals and immigrants. If these relationships are bad, then hate will arise between both sides. From it, discrimination, exclusion, and even violent acts will appear. I mean, the internet not full for nothing of videos of the people at the US discriminating other people. So, seeing how important this problem is, one question may actually appear inside your head. What could we actually do in order to make the relationship between these two sides any better? And the first thing you may think about are laws. What if there was actually a law which prevented this from happening? And if you thought of that, then I have great news for you. As all over the world, we already have laws against xenophobia. We have laws in the European Union. We have laws in Brazil. We even have laws in Mexico. There's something weird about it. Well, the thing is that the first three words of the title of this speech are laws aren't enough. So if this is a great solution, then why is the speech named like that? Do I have any reasons or can justify this, or did I just wrote the title randomly? Well, in order to understand what laws are enough, we first need to understand how laws work and also what's a system. First of all, a system is basically a set of rules and conditions which promote a certain behavior in a certain group of people. We have many examples of systems in our daily lives. But right now, we're only going to talk about one which is a very fundamental part for societies. The legal system is very fundamental as it ensures that people act in a proper way and that improper ways of acting are avoided. So this system seeks that the members of society act in a way which is proper or appropriated. But if it only were for the laws, then most people wouldn't actually follow them. That's why in our system we have some mechanisms which promote this behavior into people. One of these mechanisms, and also the main one, are punishments. Laws and rules in our legal system are endorsed into people by applying punishments if they are not followed. These punishments, of course, are negative to people. That's why people don't actually do things which are against law most of the times. So, seeing things up to this point, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong about following systems at all. So, is there any kind of catch to it, or did I just wrote that title without thinking about it? Well, to understand the catch about systems, we need to go back into the presentation, specifically to something I said at the beginning of it. Now we can just celebrate and let the laws do their job of creating union and strong positive relationships between locals and immigrants. Let's stop it right there. The real catch about system is that thing which I celebrated at the beginning. Just let the laws, or in this case the systems, do their jobs by themselves. But why is this bad, you may ask? Laws have surely a pretty positive impact into our societies. And you're right, they help us fight injustice and misbehavior. I don't deny that. But then I ask instead, what would happen if systems didn't actually portray good values, but instead did the opposite? And we have just one example which could actually tell us what could happen if this became true. And coincidentally, this is also the worst example of xenophobia and racism from which history has recorded. During the Nazi government in Germany, all the systems were modeled in order to make that the people share the same ideology. We have examples all over it. We can start with the education, which led people and kids into actually adopting Nazi ideas from a very young age. Passing through the social system, which punished extremely harshly anyone who didn't share the same ideas. And finally, the legal system, which allowed and even glorified the extermination of Jews and the superiority of the German race. Here, we have an example of systems used in the wrong way. And that almost led an entire country to exterminate an entire ethnic group. So, saying this, you may think, well, this is pretty far from societies, but the thing is that it is not. It only takes a few changes into our actual systems to allow these things to happen. That's why laws are enough to promote good values in society. Laws are enough to stop xenophobia. Laws are enough to create good and positive relationships between locals and immigrants, and we can totally see this. What we should do is to really ask ourselves, why do I care about immigrants? Why do I want to maintain good relationships with them? And it's just then, when by finding real value, real and positive relations will finally arise between both sides. What we should do is to really reflect on what has been taught to us. We should really see what we have been taught to do and reflect on it. We should find value in every action we do. And immigration and the topics related are no distinct to this. So laws and systems are the solution to this problem. We cannot stop xenophobia with them, because you can apply as much rules and punishments as you want, but you'll never stop hating the people who actually hate. And more importantly, you'll never create any friendships, any families, and in reality, any bonds at all. So laws and systems aren't the solution to stop xenophobia. That's totally true. Laws aren't enough to stop xenophobia or create good and positive relations between locals and immigrants. But value instead will not only lead us to solve such a fundamental problem, but will actually lead us to a better future for humanity. Thank you very much. I was Alejandro Melo Landaverde.